came and compelled him to go quickly to the banquet which the queen had prepared. So he finally gets his warning that you shouldn't get really pissed off at this random Christian for no fucking reason and try to make his life hell. Follower of, it says he's the Jew or whatever. Follower of God. You shouldn't get this pissed off at him and then just try to make his life hell for no reason and try to, threaten his wife and all this kind of stuff, because it's not going to end well for you. And Alan Powell, someone go and make his life hell if you can, because he deserves it. If you can figure out where he works, try to get him fired. And you might get your few victories, but at the end of the day, we'll all stand before God and you will go to hell. And you should be more concerned about that.
It's because you did this, they're constantly projecting. So whatever their bad behavior was.
Of course, well, projection's a defense that's designed to protect the psyche. So projection's always going to get magnified when the person actually feels culpable. If they're to blame for something for real, as it is, projection's going to happen on a day-to-day basis because they don't like themselves.
And even before that, if the country collapses and we go into, anarchy, your skinny little white fucking metrosexual ass in California with your little dog grooming business, unmarried, you're not going to go very far, dude. You're probably going to end up starving to death or robbed and killed by one of your Hispanic neighbors. I'm just saying. So you should be a little more concerned with that than with some random Christian guy in North Carolina. You know what I mean? So, anyways. So even though Haman has all this influence and all this money, the king is like, oh, and by the way, I'll kill you if you don't do this correctly. But you know that, Haman. Like, it's not even a blip on his radar that he just made like a serious death threat against Haman, because Haman's influence, which is behind the scenes and grabbly, does not mean shit in reality. It only works up and under the power of life and death.
Just as once was said by Shakespeare, the devil can cite scripture for his purpose. Narcissists can do it too.
Which only God holds. You know what I mean? So it doesn't get very far. And when you're talking about ultimate things, and that's what the main thing Jesus came and said was, if you guys take this seriously, then you should know which side to pick. You're picking the side of evil because it gives you money, clothes, and food. It's all, and sex. But if you pick the side of good, you'll lay up treasures where there is no rot, where there is no mold. But you won't take that to advice. You'll just fucking keep doing your little demon game because you've already picked your side, and that's fine. I've picked my side. My side's the winning side.
If you're not for a narcissist, then you are against them. In their world, you are one or the other. You can't be both. It can't be that we're just nicely going our own directions and it's, we can come up with some kind of middle of the road agreement. You're not dealing with a rational person. And so, you have to remember that this person is probably going to be out to get you. And it's really kind of hard to say that because, this person will want to hurt you. They will want to get you in some way. And winning to them is not what winning might be to you. It may not be the rational thing.
Quick turnaround there. Circumstances suddenly changed on the fella that thinks he knows the law.
Anytime things don't go right is not when you're going to get the narcissist at their best. They're combative fighters. I always say narcissists are street fighters because they're fighting for their lives the way they think. And anytime somebody's anytime someone's honing in on their sense of insecurity, they defend it because it's so fragile. Okay. Another thing that I've run into in a lot of the work I've done, and I've actually gotten a lot of emails about this, is how often the narcissist that they're with will use religion or their devotion to their religion or their piety as an excuse for their behavior. And this is not focused on any one religion. I have heard this come from people who have partners or family members who are Christian, Jewish, Islamic, Hindu, some religions I've never heard of, people who are members of cults, you name it. So they will use religion as a way to almost give them an excuse. But it's interesting because it's not just limited to religion. Narcissistic people will use all kinds of other things. Their commitment to some sort of daily yogic practice, or some other new age prattle, or veganism, or volunteering, or whatever it is that's virtuous, wherever it is you live. I cannot tell you how many times, again, that I've run into religion being sort of the leader of the pack with this stuff, as a way to defend bad behavior or as an excuse for their behavior. I'm a good Christian, so you should have known I didn't mean that. Or I was simply interpreting this particular good book, whatever it is, pick your book. But they'll use that as their way to not only defend their behavior, but sometimes to keep people stuck in relationships. Whatever the good book is, pick your good book, the good book says people stick it out in their relationships. And I cannot tell you what a manipulation that is for many people I have worked with who actually consider themselves to be people of faith, that they're devoted to whatever their faith is, but they're in a relationship with a narcissist and they're confused. And they're thinking, whatever this relationship is, it certainly doesn't feel loving and it certainly doesn't feel godly or anything. But when they try to get out of that relationship, their narcissistic partner will bring up religion as an excuse and also as a way of saying, you can't leave this relationship. That is a violation of what our faith says. And then they'll gaslight you and say, I guess that means you're not very pious, and I guess that means God doesn't love you. Not a very good feeling. The other thing that they may also do, these virtue signaling narcissists, is they'll use their virtue, whatever it is, religion or something else, to isolate you. I've heard this time and time again. When a person in a narcissistic relationship with a person who says, and they could even be from a narcissistic family, where they're like, we're better than everyone else because we are whatever we are, they will use that to isolate you and say, oh, you shouldn't go talk to those other people. They don't follow our faith. You shouldn't talk to that therapist. She's not in our religion. And by doing that, they do something that all abusers do. They isolate you. And the more they isolate you, the more control they have.